Hey everybody, Dick Polipnik here with another episode of Online Growth Systems, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the differences between mentors and coaches and how there can be good mentors and coaches and bad mentors and coaches, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's dive right into it. Mentors and coaches. First, I'm going to talk about how mentors and coaches have applied in my life and how I've used them, if I recommend them, etc. I have been interviewing entrepreneurs my entire life. Business owners, successful people within a business, not just the owners. Anybody in their particular field that they seem to excel in over their peers. I literally interview somebody once a week. I've got one later today. It's 12:28 p.m. right now, just after noon, and I'm going to be leaving at 2 p.m. to drive 2 hours to interview an entrepreneur in Twin Cities in Minnesota. It's going to be an hour and a half supper. I'm buying him supper, and I like to quote Warren Buffett when he said, "Rich people shouldn't be taking poor people out for dinner. Poor people should be buying rich people dinner because they are the ones who get the most out of it." And I am a firm believer in that. I believe that's true, not just for business, but for life. If you want to have better relationships, find someone in your field who has a similar relationship to what you want, not what you have, what you want. You know, you take notes, and a mentor is somebody that is willing of their own free will to go and mentor you, to sit down with you, to talk to you, to give you advice, to tell their stories. That's the number one thing that I recommend getting, is you get their stories. If you ask them a question that gets them on a story, you're going to learn countless pieces of advice within that story, because they'll just naturally bring them up. So for coaching, coach is somebody who you pay to improve you. A coach for business is very similar to a coach for a sport. So a coach for a sport is on a payroll. They're there because they enjoy it. It's their job. It is their career. They do this for a living, or as a part of their living. You have scheduled sessions, and the advice that you get is worthless unless you implement it. One of my coaches, I have had two coaches, two paid coaches. One of them is a guy who was a public speaker, an author, and a branding business website designer kind of a guy. And he had gone around Washington, D.C., East Coast, New York, down to Georgia, you know what I mean, and throughout that region, and he'd become the dominant player in personal branding, and something that I had a passion in myself and wanted to learn from his success. And another thing is, I'm willing to drive hours to get a half-hour interview with somebody. And it's not an interview that I'm publishing, that I'm making money from. Well, I kind of am making money from it because I'm hoping that I can apply it in business and use it to my advantage. But I'm not profiting from advertising or publicizing that interview, if that makes sense. You pursue whatever industry, whatever career you're into, or whatever you lack. So if you're struggling in life with or your business with branding, and you need branding advice, you go to someone who is an expert in the branding industry in your area. Everyone should start out with a mentor. And the easiest way to do it, give them a call. Because you'd be surprised how willing people are to help you out. When those people allow a time slot in their day for you, you're damn right that you open your time for them. My interview last week, like I said, I try to get one interview in for somebody once a week. And my interview last week, I called him to, because I try to do it, a couple of months in advance, because sometimes it takes people a while to get their schedules cleared. But I called him on a Wednesday, and he was like, "Yeah, well, whenever you want to meet." He was actually a retired businessman, so he had a little bit more flexible schedule. We ended up scheduling it for 12 o'clock noon at a restaurant the next day, that last Thursday, so I've never had one, be that fast. That's kind of cool. So you want to start out with not the free, but the low budget mentors. And when I say low budget, it's not that they're low value, it's that it's low cost to you. Heck, most expensive lunch that I've ever, paid for in one of these interviews is like $50. And that's, compared to the value that you're getting from it. Some of these guys almost plan, or some of these people actually plan what they want to say to you before the interview because they're looking forward to it. Because maybe, you'd be surprised how few people ask them to sit down with them. To me, it's shocking that I'm the only one my age asking these people to sit down and get a minute of their time, because there's a vast resource of knowledge in older generations, or in some cases younger generations, that you can tap into with just $50 lunch at a restaurant. So when you're getting this high value from these people, one thing that I really recommend is writing them a thank you letter when you're done. Write them a thank you letter. Once a year, I sit down at Christmas and I buy Christmas cards, big stack in bulk, because I try to do this. I think that's a really good gesture. And I write a thank you card to every person that I interviewed that year. So most of the time I have, I try to get one a week in. So, I probably got around 50 interviews to write thank you cards for coming Christmas time every year. And then I do business ones and family ones and personal ones, whatever. But that's something that in the future, if in several cases, there's two people that I've interviewed twice. I interviewed them when I was really young, and now that I've gotten older and I kind of know some of the more targeted questions to ask, I have called those two people back and I've said, hey, could I take you out to lunch again? It's been 5 years since I interviewed you, and I kind of got some experience under my belt, and I know what questions to ask you next. So let's dive into the coaching. The coaching is something that you pay for, and I recommend that you do the mentoring first, and then once you're serious enough, once you know enough questions, once you need someone to give you your industry specific details, step-by-step processes, day-to-day activities to do, that's when you get a coach. That's when you pay for a coach. And I want to recommend two things. Number one, that like any product or service, you get what you pay for. And I've seen coaching calls for $100 a session for 1 hour. And I've seen them for $1,000 for 1 hour. And I've seen them for, you have to give a certain amount of equity for your business, like $100,000 worth of, equity in your company in exchange for 1 hour a month or 1 hour a year, even in some extreme, cases. But those are the people that they're worth it. You know what I mean? Everybody's worth what they're charging, right? The guy that's charging you $100,000 in your company equity, he's probably worth more than that. You know what I mean? He's bringing value to you. And the guy who's worth $100, hey, especially if you're at the part in your business where you're only making, $60 an hour, whatever, and you charge him, and he's charging you $100 to get some really amazing advice. Obviously, you know what I mean? He's at a different point than you are. So learn from anybody who's where you are, where you want to be. Another thing is something that I've learned through my coaches and through mentors too, is you want to get somebody who's in the industry that you're in. So number one piece of advice is make sure that you look at what they're worth, because what they're charging per hour or what they're charging for sessions is what they're worth. Keep that in mind. You pay for what you get. Number two is get one in your industry. So make sure you look into the background. Like every product and service, there's usually reviews on Google. If they written a book, look on Amazon onto their book and see what kind of book reviews they're getting, because chances are their coaching is going to be very similar to the quality of their book writing. It's maybe even lower because they have time to change a book. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you punch that subscribe button so hard that you break your screen! but maybe not, because I don't want you to send me a bill. But thanks guys for watching, and make sure you guys share and like it. If there's somebody in your family or somebody in your business, a coworker that you know would find value in what you learned here today, tweet at them, message them, send them an email with a link to this video and say, hey, I know that I'm pretty cool, and I know you'll be pretty cool if you watch this video, because you would need it. You would benefit from what you learned. So, thanks guys for watching. See you next time. Hello there. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you want to watch another video, you can check it out right there.